Alrighty, my little sweet potatoes, since we're close to Thanksgiving. Today we're going to talk about percent as fractions. So we've been talking about percents a little bit, and we did a little bit with decimals last week. And now we're going to talk about fractions. So remember that I told you once that a decimal is a fraction. And a percent is actually a fraction too. So let's go ahead and write our definition of a percent. A percent is a special kind of fraction it always has 100 as the denominator. Okay, so remember the other day we talked about percent. Remember we said the prefix, the per, is for each, and then we said the root means 100, right? And I'm going to try and autofocus that a little bit more. Okay, and the root meant 100. So let me show you some examples of percents as fractions. So these are examples. Okay, so if I write 3% as a fraction, it would be 3/100ths. If I wrote 10%, it would be 10/100ths, which we know we can actually reduce to 1/10. And then if I wrote 25%, it would be 25/100. And again, I could reduce that one to 1/4. Okay, so there are two special kinds of percents as fractions. So special. 0%. 0% is 0/100, or it's just 0. And then 100%, we would write it as 100/100, or hopefully you know it, 1. Okay. And here's the cuckoo thing. I know this one's going to sound weird to you, but you can have numbers over 100 as a percent. So think about, have you ever heard somebody say they were working so hard they were giving 110%? You can do that. So for instance, 126% would be 126/100. And again, it's an improper fraction. You write it as an improper fraction. Okay, so all right, we're gonna write the percent as a fraction, and then we're going to write it as a decimal. Okay, so if I say 15%, what is my fraction and what is my decimal? Remember, we learned decimals the other day. So for my fraction, remember I said you simply put the number on top of the 100 denominator, right? So 15/100 is my equivalent fraction. And if I wanted to do the decimal, remember I move the decimal to the left, right? So it becomes 0.15. And that makes sense, right? Because 15 100ths is 15 parts of a 100, of a whole. And then if you think about this, isn't 0.15 15, like, let's think about dollars and cents. Isn't 0.15 15 cents to 100 cents, which would be $1? Okay, let's do this one. 62%. Remember, fraction, then decimal. Go ahead and try it. Pause it if you need to, if I'm talking too fast. Try it, see what you get. Okay, so hopefully you got 62 100 and 0.62. Okay, so if we can go from percent to fraction to decimal, then we can work in other directions too. So for these ones, you're going to write the decimal as a fraction and a percent. Okay, so we have 0.04 and 0.33. Go ahead and pause the video and try doing those on your own, and then come back and we'll see if you got them right. Okay, hopefully you just came back and you have paused it and now you're ready to see if you got them right. Okay, so writing it as a fraction, I'm going to put 4 over 100, and then I'm going to have 4%. And then on this one, I'm going to put 33 over 100, and then I'm going to have 33%. Okay. Now, it is possible sometimes with certain numbers that you will have a decimal in your fraction or in your percent. It does happen, but for the most part, most of your examples probably won't, okay? All right, so that is writing percents as fractions. And remember, now that you can write percents as fractions and you can write percents as decimals, that means you can go from a decimal to a percent or a percent to a decimal or vice versa. You can go all three ways, okay? So if you can find one, then you can find all three. All right? All right, off to practice.